the real question is, if you had to choose one, you're stuck on a 16-hour flight. There's only these two things showing. Which one would you watch?
Oh, no.
You're listening to The Juniper and Elle Show, where two friends chat dramas, movies, and whatever else we're checking out at the moment. Grab a tea or other beverage of choice and come hang out with us as we chat, laugh, and occasionally make sense. Hi, this is Juniper.
Hello, this is Elle.
Welcome to our pod. Today, we're going to talk about 3 Asian dramas. I feel like we've been away from Asian land, and it's time to return screaming and kicking. 2 out of the 3 shows today caused some screaming and kicking, okay? But we'll start more pleasantly with the show that we liked and finished. So we have previously actually talked about this show, which is the Korean drama My Royal Nemesis. And last time when we spoke about it, we had gotten, I think, up to episode 8. And the total run is 14 episodes. So today we want to spend the initial part of this talking about our wrap-up thoughts on episodes 9 through 14. And then we're going to spend the remainder time talking about 2 Chinese dramas that we checked out and ran away from. 2 sparkly dramas that didn't quite sparkle.
No.
And those 2, in case you're wondering why I call them sparkly, because the title of both shows have like sparks or fire in them. One is called Dazzling, and the other one is Love Has Fireworks. Let's back burner those and start with the wrap up on My Royal Nemesis. Last time when we talked about it, if I recall correctly, we liked it, but we said, it's really being carried by the main leads and their great chemistry and comedic interactions and timing. Like, the situations are so ridiculous and wild and random, but yet it works. And we said the script doesn't quite logic completely, and the characters, especially the female lead, doesn't quite logic. Like, how is she a ancient person who's transmigrated to the present, adapting so wow, and how come one time, 1 minute she's like brave and crazy, the next she's like timid and scared and blah, blah, blah. So now that we got to the end.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, yes, thank you. Thank you for that. You're the gatekeeper on that. Thank you. It actually made a lot more sense once they revealed that she really is a modern person who, as a kid, got soul swapped with kind of a ancient incarnation of herself. So they soul swapped. And she probably lost her memory, right, of who she is. And then when she got pushed back again to the present, she thought she was the ancient person coming to the present, but really she was back in her body.
Yeah, she returned.
Yeah. So that actually explains why she was a natural at acting when she came to the present, how she actually was fairly comfortable adapting.
Yeah.
And maybe why her personality is a little bit unstable. Because she obviously, right, was like, she had repressed memories, repressed everything. So as much as I will say again that even all the way through episode 14, the script is a little bit slapdash.
Yeah.
I feel like it expects the audience to do a lot of the drawing of conclusions and connecting the dots. Like, you have to leap to certain conclusions by the little hints or things it drops your way. Regardless, even though I had to do some of that work, it still worked out. Like, I could draw a line from point A to B to C that it, the nuggets, right? The script serves up. And I was satisfied with the end picture it gave me. And more importantly, I was just satisfied because it was a wholly happy ending for everyone who deserved a wholly happy ending.
Yes. Yeah. Because especially with these shows that have like these time travel elements or reincarnation, or I mean, it was funny because they were like, oh, this is like so many things all stacked on top of each other. Like, remember that fortune teller or whatever? She's like, I've never had this happen before. So it's like, you don't know how they're going to end it because they could make it open, right? Like completely open where you're not happy, or they could make her stuck in time, or like, oh, will she come back? Or like, there were so many ways it could have gone wrong. And I'm so glad that actually, because of the twist of that she actually came back and that she actually belongs here, that they're able to actually have a normal happy ending, and it's not like, "Oh, what if this? What if that?" Or because I think the course of the story was also like she had this threat over her head, right? That her soul's gonna be pulled back to the old into the past version of herself, and so that was the fear that she couldn't be with the guy. So I'm glad that they did that in the story.
Yeah, and it was also something that was this like kind of sword or knife hanging over her head that made her very non-committal and
Yes.
it caused a lot of I would say repetitive angst. In some ways, you could say if I really want to criticize the stupidity of the script logic, it's like every episode was like, I love you. Oh, but I'm gonna leave. Or I can no longer love you because I can't. You know what I mean? Like it was always like,
Yes.
oh, let me take a step forward, but two steps back, right?
Yeah.
By her mainly, not him. So he always got the what the F is going on. But I have to say, he's extremely patient and understanding. Like, never once does he go, you crazy woman. Because, I mean, you gotta believe that he really thought she was crazy, but he didn't care
Yes.
until the very last episode to where he had the realization that actually this is whatever she's telling me is probably true.
Well, even before that, right? The last time when he was like, I went along with it, right? Like that was his thing. Like, I went along with whatever you were telling me, and now you're just telling me this thing that's completely BS, and I'm not buying it this time. And
He's
she's
like,
like,
this is where I draw the line.
this is
If you're
like
gonna
where
leave,
yeah, just leave. Like, don't tell me this far-fetched story. So I actually think he's sort of the MVP in this story, even because he has to react a lot to her, right? I mean, she's really the loud, the sort of roaring noise in this show, and he has to compete with that, but and still be likable, despite being like supposedly like that stereotypical mean CEO type. But I really liked how this actor played the love fool that he became over time.
hmm
Like
not over
he
time.
just
He instantaneously became loveful after episode, I want to say 3 or 4, whatever. It was very early on, and he was committed.
He was so committed, and he always told her exactly how he felt, but he would never, he never praised her in a way to make her feel good. He praised her because he's like, "That's how I feel about you," and I just love that. Like, I love this character that was written, and I loved how he performed it. So yeah, so even that scene when he called BS on her, I was like, I felt his pain more than I felt her pain, even though she's the one crying and everything. I felt like he really wanted something stable, and she's pulling, the blanket, not the carpet from under him again. So I just felt like, oh, like this would be so difficult if he wasn't really on equal footing with her.
Yeah, but I have to say though, I really, 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 really couldn't stand the villain, which probably means that the villain did a very good job. Like the actor who plays the villain, the cousin, is
Mhm.
so smirky, and you're just like, ah.
Well, he played a lot of people, right? People thought he was two-faced. People thought he was like this soft, nice guy for most of his life, but he was always scheming in the background. And I found that they tried to give him grace by showing that he really loved his son. Like he didn't treat his son like a pawn, right? Like his son was
hmm
really the one person he loved. But it was also, interesting how at the very, very end when she visited him in prison, the female lead, and she said,
hmm
"You had a chance. Like, your son was your chance to do well in this world, in this lifetime, and not, like, screw it up again." So, I thought that was an interesting contrast. It doesn't, erase all the bad things that he did. He was still a villain through and through, and he deserved what he got at the end.
Yeah. I was also happy when I say it was a wholly happy ending. It wasn't. What I liked was that not only did they give a happy ending to the couple, the main couple we've been following all this time, but also their past life incarnations. At least I think it's their past life incarnation. See, this is where the show gets really murky. Okay, the kind of the principles of reincarnation or soul cycling, right? Because obviously, visually, you're seeing the different versions of the same person in the past and the future. And the female lead soul swap with what I'm presuming is a former version of herself in the past because they look alike. So then the question is, are they the same person? Or are they not? I mean, are they the same soul, I should say? Because I feel like in Buddhism, that would be how you consider that, right? But at the same
Yes.
time, the way the story pans out, they almost are saying they're not exactly the same. They even talk about their previous incarnations about as them at the end,
Yes.
I think. So then I'm like, so they're not the same entity or what? Like, does that make sense? It's very confusing how this spiritual logic works. Not that we have to solve it.
Yeah, I think what you're calling out is like almost like a plot hole in it because the Century is the one that the prince fell in love with, right? Because she was a child and she grew up
Right.
in the household and she was a court lady when she was there. And all his feelings that he poured out in his poetry, his journal, his paintings are for her. But then
Mm-hmm.
she never reciprocated and then she came back to the present day. So I feel like what they're trying to say is that he doesn't he's not aware that that woman has left, but the soul swap, the original little girl that returned to that Joseon version, the Kandanshim, maybe then they can have a beginning or they can start a relationship because that girl should not have any memories of the prince, right? Like she lived in the modern
Right.
day as a no name actress and then she went back. So yeah, I feel like that's a plot hole because they never we never see any storyline from the perspective of the other soul. Like we just know
Yes.
she existed. So we don't know what her life was like, what she experienced. But then yeah, had the prince in the past survived and now he's with her. He's with a woman that he believes he fell in love with, but it's really not. It's it's another woman as far as I can see.
Well, I think she tells him, right? Like I told you I'm like a new person or something, you know.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
think when they fell in together over the cliff, right? You thought she died and he was saved or died with her. It turns out that they both survived. That was a wholly
Yeah.
happy ending. What I mean is you didn't have to go and show us that. It was great that they did. I was happy for the prince. I was happy for her because I think if the curse never existed on her life, right? Then I think they were meant to be together if their trajectories never got changed. The soul switching. At least that's how I
Yeah.
choose to believe it. So I feel like the right people or right versions of themselves got reunited with the right version. And that's why Shinsuri in the past didn't really fall for the prince because she's not the right version of the soul.
Mm,
Again, I'm writing the script for the scriptwriter because they didn't go to the trouble of fleshing all of the details out.
right.
Actually, when you were talking about the prince loving her, it reminded me of something I saw someone's comment. I was like, "Oh, they're so right." Someone had an epiphany. I'm sure that they're not the only one. They were like, the male lead, the actor, is both the male lead and the second male lead in the show. I was like, oh my god, they're so right? Because the prince is basically they both fell in love with the same Shinsuri, right? Except the prince is the second male lead because he's the more gentle, perfect, noble, literally
Yes.
noble version,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Except he lost out on the girl.
Yeah, and he was dying for her. He died for her, right? He died to protect her. So,
Yes.
mhm. I want to mention like all the scenes they did in the museum, like with the paintings and the artifacts. I
Yes.
thought that was cool.
Yes.
I actually liked how they utilized that. I mean, like the most striking part of it reminded me if I've mentioned this in the past, like Scarlet Heart.
I was gonna say, does it heal your Scarlet Heart ending wounds?
Well, because that one, there was the original Scarlet Heart and then the sequel, which is on the present day. And it's about
Right.
a similar thing where a girl goes back in time and then she comes back. And then she's just like so like obsessed with the Emperor and she's just crying in the museum. But like that's all that did. Like, but here I feel like the artifacts kind of fed into the story of telling him because he was not a believer, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then that woman, his supposed ex-fiance, like she told him like there's a painting of this, she looks just like her, you should go look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he sees everything, like even though he doesn't have the memories or anything, like I was very moved. I was like, I'm glad that he saw it because it makes her not sound crazy anymore, right? He really thought she was crazy, I think. Or he was like, what is she high on something, right? But here like more like tangible pieces of history that kind of support what she had been telling him, and that made it where you're like now you feel like his pain is real because he realizes like, oh my god, does that mean she'll never come back? So yeah, I
Yeah.
liked how they did that here versus Scarlet Heart, where like, oh yeah, there's a painting, but here it's like these pieces matter, these artifacts matter. Oh, I was mentioning, like, I like the how all these female characters that you in the beginning, you thought they could be, like, schemers or come back and be, like, really vindictive, but they kinda all, like, fleshed out in a way where they don't come back and cause additional harm, right? Like, so the ex-fiancé and then the other actress.
She turned out to be a good egg, although they had to go also with the crazy toxic stalker,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about her.
so-called false friend. So don't forget, don't give it too much credit, right? Like that was
Yes,
totally
yes.
unnecessary
I was like, "When did
challenge
she
there.
turn
You're like,
evil?"
where did that come from and why is this necessary? And then she showed up in the past too, right? And you're just like, and then what? Like other than to just throw a nugget in there. So again, like I said, the script doesn't always logic or it flow well, but you forgive its gaps.
Mhm.
I feel like the show is a prime example of sometimes, script doesn't have to be the strongest. I mean, come on, this is as tropey of a romance or rom-com as it gets.
It's full of tropes, but I think the acting elevated it a lot. I mean, like, so much, and I
Right.
love that they don't look like the typical and they're attractive people. No, they're attractive, but they're not, like, the typical mainstream
Oh, I know. Aren't you in love with the actor?
like, he's so charismatic, he's so domineering, but, like, in such a cute way, you're like, "How can you not like the guy?" You know?
Okay. Anything else, or are we ready for ratings on this one?
I'm ready.
All right. Ratings. Okay, I'll go first. So objectively, okay, I gotta be objective somewhat. I give this an 8.8. And that's probably still high. But sentimentally, I would have given this a 9.2.
Mm,
Because I loved every minute of the show. Even when, towards the end, there was a kind of a 2 episode arc where it became a little bit heavy and unnecessarily almost melodramatic, right? Because where the villain was just triumphant left and right. And you're just like, what the F is going on, right? Like, come on, hurry up to the end. I want to see the happy ending. But I never had to fast forward. I loved every bit of it. Everything kind of contributed to the overall story and what you took away from it. So I don't begrudge the show these moments, even though I hated some of it at the time while watching it in real time. And I love the CP, love the individual actors, love the, like I said, dual couple happy ending, even though some of it didn't quite make sense to us. So
mhm,
all in
mhm.
all, 8.8 objective, 9.2 from the heart.
Okay. So I gave it a 9, which is
Oh,
basically what
hey,
you gave it. If we average what you just what you just gave, so
you could have saved
yeah,
me a lot of breaths by just coming out first. Next time, you go first.
I feel the same way. I did not think like, when we were like, oh, people were like, "Oh, watch it." You're like, "Well, I was going blind, right? I don't watch trailers." And I feel like as soon as this started, I was like, "What is happening? And who are these people?" And then they just sucked me in, and then I love them more and more. And yeah, like I doubt that there'll be a sequel, but I just kind of feel like, oh, I wish there was like an extra thing. I just love their bantering. I don't even call it bickering. I think their bantering is just so good. Like they kind of talk like real couples, the way they
Yes.
right? Like they will insult each other, but it's never personal. It's like to make fun of like your thinking or what you're doing, but it's like it's out of love. It's really very affectionate and yeah, even if you think about if it's just as a pure romance, it's so romantic. They're so romantic with each other. And then if you think about like the grand scope of all the other plot holes or plot lines, they're okay. They make it work. Like how they met makes it work and it makes them who they are. So yes, I give it a 9 because I just think it's such a great show overall and I can totally rewatch it again. And I feel like I'll probably see something I didn't notice the first time.
Yep. All right. All right. Are we ready
We
to
move
now
on.
move on to the non-sparkly shows? Okay, we have to.
Hmm.
Okay, so at the beginning, we had said we're going to talk about two Chinese dramas that we checked out but didn't make it through. And both had very bright titles. One is called Dazzling, which stars Guan Xiaotong and Li Yunrui. And the other is Love Has Fireworks, starring Tan Jianci and Wang Churan. All very good looking people. You would think this would work out, but it did not.
Yeah.
We both got about 4 to 5 episodes in on each, and then we're kind of like, eh. So let's talk about, what didn't work. I don't think we have to go in detail about either show, but I would say they suffer kind of suffered for me in different ways, but I still ended up with the same sentiment. Dazzling was like, I kept going, where is this going? The story. Because it's the story about a kind of, at least as far as we could tell in the setup, right? A very spoiled rich girl whose dad got into trouble. So she has to be sent to kind of a distant aunt's house.
Yeah. It's her mom's adoptive sister's house.
Right. So it's a weird relationship. So technically family, but not by blood.
Yeah.
And then her cousin, so the aunt's son, they kind of are. I feel like it's an enemies to lovers story, right? And then we didn't get this far, but I know the rest of the story. They're gonna eventually fall for each other, but then they have to part. So then it'll be like
Hmm.
a reunion after years of separation type of story. Sounds
Yeah.
great on paper with beautiful people.
Does it?
I don't think it's awful. I just don't know what to think.
Yeah.
If I didn't know any better based on the 4 episodes, what did I say to you at the beginning when we were chatting before we started the pod? I said, if I didn't know any better, I could have said this is a story about how you slowly discover over the course of a few days that this town has one handyman who fixes it all. And every scenario is how you discover, I need this fixed. Oh, hey, it's you. You fix this. Oh, you fix computers. Oh, you fix ACs.
Yeah, so that's the male lead. Like he just shows up and like he's like starts to become like a running gag, right? Every time you need a
Right.
fixer upper guy, he's the handyman.
The door, fix the door.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. The locksmith. He's also the locksmith. So okay, let me take a step back. So the setting is beautiful. It's like this resort
Yes.
town. Really cute, very charming little town. I don't know if it's a real place or it's a set, but it looked cute. And so the people okay, so the introduction is like you see all these kind of goofy people, you see the people living in the town. You're like, "Oh, this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be like
Right.
slice of life," I thought. And then they bring in the female lead. Oh, and they're high school age. Just I think they're like supposed to be 17 or 18. So when they
Yes.
meet their teenagers, this high school girl, like she's so like stereotypically prissy. I mean, she obviously came from a very sheltered life and obviously spoiled, but like she just has like resting bitch face the whole time, right? She's not happy that she's there. Sorry. She's not happy that she's there.
No, accurate. Accurate.
She's not very polite. I mean, she's polite, but she's not very nice. It's a fine line. She's never rude, but when you're watching it, at least for me, I was like, all right, I can get past it because she's obviously like the city girl, the flashy city girl, and they're trying to introduce her to this sort of more rustic place. But like immediately there's this animosity between the male and female lead. And I don't know where it's coming from. Like he also has prejudices against her. Like I don't because I don't know. He looked down on her for being rich.
Well, because she throws her weight around, right? Everything's like, you guys are obviously poor. Because to him, she is looking down on them. You say that she doesn't look down on them. I actually think she is somewhat condescending, if not a lot of
Mm,
condescending. Okay?
yeah.
She may not be thinking that she comes across that way, but that is what it is, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I can buy your services. It's not, there's no price I can't pay, and everyone has a price. That's her attitude.
You're right. You're right. So I just couldn't buy into her. Like I couldn't root for her. Like anytime you watch these shows, you want to at least like they don't have to be likable people. I mean the
Hmm.
female actress in my Royal Nemesis isn't exactly likable in the beginning, right? But
But she's charming.
she's charming, and there's something where you want to root for them. You're like, you know what? She's
Right.
in this situation. She's obviously a fish out of water. I mean, they're both the same fish out of water stories. But I don't know why I could not support, especially. I think teenage girls, you feel like there should still be some innocence to them. But this
Right.
person, this character that she's playing was so hard, like so hardened from the moment she stepped off, stepped out of that car. And yeah, so for me, it was really hard to get into. I know you thought Leon Ray is really cute, and he is cute, but I also felt like, why is he so? He's also kind of, he also has like RBF in some ways where he's just not a happy person because of
Only with
his
her.
situation. Only with her,
Only with
but
her.
he's also in a situation where he really wants to go to school, but for I think financial reasons he has to like work or whatever. So you're like, okay, there's something they have in common, and you kind of want to see where it goes. But yeah, I got up to the four episodes, and I just was like, I don't, and I know there's a time jump, I know they're mature, but I was like, it's taking too long. Like I wasn't invested enough to see like how is this going to evolve. Like it was just too much anger like between the leads of just like, I don't like you, you don't like me, and it wasn't charming in that sense, even though they're a very charming environment, and you feel like you should
Yes.
feel some bubbliness, but there was no lightness. And so yeah, for that reason I kind of just forgot about it. Like I didn't even like go back and say, oh, let me check out the fifth episode. Like couldn't do it.
I think I think the issue is pacing, like you said, right? Like you didn't feel invested enough to keep going, and it's because by episode 4 and 5, she was still going through the same cycle of showing how spoiled she is or how bratty she can be to other people, and still finding the same guy is the handyman for everything she needs. Like that could have been taken care of in 1.5 episodes, two max,
Yes.
right? Like you didn't need
Mm-hmm.
four
Mm-hmm.
episodes of that. By episode 3 and 4, you could have started showing like softening around the edges and the thawing of the ice between them. Because then you want to see, oh, then they're gonna fall. So how's that gonna hold? No, like it was almost too much slice of life when you don't need it. Because I do like the side characters in the town, right? They're very interesting, genuine people. Maybe,
Yeah,
well, maybe not genuine, but likable. Like
they seem authentic to, yeah, it's for TV
right.
standards, right? Yeah.
Right, but the show then spends almost in these early episodes too much time showing these people, so then it takes away, right, from building up the main leads relationship or dynamic. It's at least not building, at least establish it, right? All it's
Mm-hmm.
established is the I need something fixed, let me get the handyman and I hate your face type of relationship, but I will begrudgingly do something for you behind your back. But don't tell me, don't tell her I helped her, oh, because I'm not
Yeah,
like that to her.
exactly. I was like, why help her if you don't like her? Right? Why play the hero?
But you got to remember, they're supposed to be like 18 or 17. So I think that's the other thing, right? Because you have 20, almost 30-year-old actors playing. Now, I'm not saying they look old, they just are more mature actors playing the young versions of the characters. You almost forget that they're supposed to be a very immature age still.
That's true.
I think that's the other thing, right? So all of that then together, slower pacing. Also, don't forget competing attention from my Royal Nemesis when we were watching Dazzling. I think that just ended up with abandoned ship.
Yes.
So, what did I say? The most dazzling thing about the show, as far as I could tell, was his hair. But his hair was very bright, platinum blonde, at least in the beginning, and I'm like, oh,
No, he can carry it off.
he can be a Chinese Legolas. How's that? So okay, so then we also then checked out 4 to 5 episodes. I think you went slightly beyond.
I finished 7 episodes.
Yeah. Love has fireworks. So that one didn't work out in somewhat of a different way. Gosh, you want to go first because you got further?
Well, I mean, the story, it's very tropey in the sense of it's just the girl lost her job, boyfriend like breaks up with her. Now she's in debt, and then she rents out a room to this guy. But she didn't rent it to him originally. It was his girlfriend found the apartment. And then the girlfriend dumps him. So now they're roommates, female lead and the male lead. So that's how they become roommates. And then he supposedly is very rich, but I don't know why he lost some money. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to live here for now because I have no more money and I don't want to live off of my dad. So the setup is very trite, I want to say. And so I got further than you. I was telling you that it's one of those shows that's quite milk toast, and I like that word, milk toast.
Yeah, nobody else in this world understands what that means, okay?
Means it's kind of like like soft and meek. I said it's like a milquetoast version of a rom-com. Like it wants to be a rom-com, but it just
You should
doesn't.
spell it. People might think you mean bread toast,
Oh,
like
oh,
milk and bread.
MILQUETOAST. So the show wants to be a rom-com, but it's also trying to be like it actually reminded me a lot of this Dylan Wang show with Bailu that I did not like, Only for Love. It's like that. It's like it has the same temperature of production value. It's like Girl in Finance or like kind of that where they give you just enough, but it's not like total like where they go all in on like the business in the business world, the hardcore sort of stuff that happens when you're dealing with negotiations and mergers and acquisitions. So, anyways, to me, this is a very light version of that. I think this is a show that if you like the leads, like if you like this actress or this actor, I think it's okay because they get a lot of screen time. They're very comfortable playing the characters that they're playing. My problem is when I was watching it, I was telling you, I felt very disconnected from them because they painted her as like she's like number one in her class at this prestigious university majoring in finance. And I felt none of that. Like I felt none of that energy, none of that ambition that or cool smarts that you would get for supposedly a character who's that smart and supposedly successful, but then she got like soft in her early career because her fiance or boyfriend promised her like, "Oh, we'll get married and we'll settle down." And so she's like, "Okay," and just follows along with that and lost all her ambition. And then he supposedly is this second generation, very comes from a very wealthy family. And he doesn't give off that vibe. I don't need domineering CEO, but he's definitely not, Chasuge from my Royal Nemesis,
Well,
right? But
again, you're holding it to the epitome of
But that's what they're presenting, right? Like he supposedly comes from that level of wealth and education, and I felt none of that. He comes off very like struggling middle class who made it. Like, but he is also smart. So there was a disconnect that as I'm watching it, and you call them losers.
well, let me take
Yeah,
over and
why don't
explain.
you take over? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how I came at it. First of all, there are significant others at the start establishes their loserness, okay? Like how do you be with these people and not
Yes.
be a loser? Like they pick the worst partners out there and they're like at least he's not blind to the fact that his girlfriend is not really for him, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Whereas she is. And she's like hanging like what did I call her? I said she's like a wet rag. I'm like, how
Yeah.
can I respect a wet rag? I don't care how much they're like she's so capable, but she gets walked all over by everyone, including her bitchy coworkers and even her boss, right? Who is sort of
Mhm.
like recognizes her talents, but then when push comes to shove, doesn't do anything to help her. At least not that I've seen. So then I'm like, what is the established like why should I care about this person who is so incapable?
Right, she has she has no support system, right? At least in the workplace.
Right. And so she's a loser and then he's not a loser, but to your point, like I don't feel like, he's the character they say he is. I mean, part of it I blame on the visuals and the styling. Like, this show is somewhat dated, right? I think you mentioned it might be shot 3 years ago because I know it was held
Yeah.
for different reasons. There's
Mhm.
things scandals and stuff that I'll come back to. I mean, if you told me this was made 6 years ago, I would have believed you, okay? Because everything looks so cheap and out of sync with the times, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
his red car, for God's sakes. Who drives a red sports car like that? Maybe in China that's in. I'm like, that looks like something my trendy high school teacher drove in 19, let's say 89. Right? Like that was the right color, the right kind of car in 1989. All of that was just like, oh, they're trying so hard, but they don't actually know how to try. So then they're failing and falling on their. I don't mean the characters. I mean the whole aesthetic of the show visually.
Mhm.
I think that didn't help. And then everyone's a loser, right? Like they're horrible exes. They have horrible friends. Can I just say that the female lead's best friend is the most annoying best friend ever. Like, I get it. It's girl power. She's got to go to bat for her friend, but her friend didn't ask her to go make a scene every waking moment,
Yeah.
Like she's just this belligerent person who wants to make a scene all the time. Like, and what purpose does this serve?
Yeah.
So that really was a turn off. the reason you will watch a show like this is it's the promise of romance, right? I mean, love has fireworks. Okay, where are the fireworks? Well, 4 or 5 episodes in, I told you I didn't even know how far I really got because I lost count because there was nothing to hook me on. Every episode to the next, I couldn't tell that it has like time has passed because I felt like the same scenarios were being played out. Like, oh, we're roommates. Oh, I gotta clean and cook for you. Oh, you gotta hide in your room. Oh, we will bump into each other, have some embarrassing arguments. Oh, let's rinse and repeat. So I was like, where is the firework? Where's the romantic tension? It's a rom-com, right? To me, this is a sitcom. Has the framework of a sitcom,
Yes,
right? There
yes.
should be some tension, whether it's negative tension or positive. Then none of that. Okay? It was just like neighbors getting into little petty spats. That's the tension, okay? That's what it felt like.
Yeah, there were no stakes. There are no
No,
stakes. They're supposed to be stakes, but they don't you don't feel it because they're living so,
exactly.
like, normally, right? Like, they're not doing anything really to propel and solve the problem, which is, she needs to find a freaking job, and she's like, "Well, no, I'm just gonna, like, work for free to get my old boss to hire me." And you're like, "Well, how long can you do that for?"
So fine. You're gonna back burner the romance. Fine. Then focus on the business side, the career side. No. Like, what did I say? I said because I was so not engaged, I was like, the only reason that I would keep watching the show was to see kind of the workplace villains get their comeuppance, like her seeing her vindicated. But by end of episode 5 or something, I'm like, nope, still nothing has changed. So how long is this gonna take? So I did skip forward a few episodes to just see like when does this change. Every time I skip forward, I was like, I can't tell anything has actually changed. And what did you tell me? You said as far as you know, as of episode 7, nothing has progressed on that front either.
No, if anything, her ex-boss is even more shady.
Yeah, so then what the hell? What are you watching for? What's the payoff?
Right, because the problem is if you're watching it from the female lead's perspective, like, she hasn't discovered anything, Think like
No.
the machinations that are happening behind her back that caused her to get laid off in the first place are still happening, but she's just, like, on the outside of it. So when if you're kinda, like, figuring out the storyline, you're like, well, the to your point, she is still a wet rag because she has no clue, and she's just still trying to wing it, like, she has no idea. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very hard to watch. This will only be appealing to their diehard fans because, like I said, they have a lot of screen time.
But it's not even fun screen time.
No, no, some people are, "I love the bickering." I'm like, "What? I don't what bickering?" It's just him, like, saying, "Do this for me." No, she wants him to help him on something. He's like, "Alright, then, I need more than one meal." And, yeah, like you said, it's like negotiating housework and free meals, and you're like, "Really? These are the stakes that we're talking about."
Right. Right. Exactly. What a waste, as I like to say, right? Like you put very people we want to watch, but you wasted them in this. And you're like, what? Whose idea was it? Oh, and can I just say the other thing that adds to the cheapness is the bad AI face swap. So far now we've seen 3 shows where they had to use AI to replace actors, right?
Wait, what's the second one?
Pursuit of Jade, and then Love Never Fails.
Oh, right, 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 right. Well, that wasn't real face swap. That was like a whole
No, that was AI
actor.
in the sense that it was green screen and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
reshot,
yeah.
right? Very
Mhm.
strategically. So it's not quite AI face swap. So that was the first one we saw where they had to wholesale replace an actor or actress in that sense, right? Because of
Yeah.
scandal. That worked out really well, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
We enjoyed that show. And I think part of it is we have to thank the main male lead Liu Xueyi and then the second male lead Ari Pan for coming back and reshooting some of the scenes with her, the new actress,
Yes.
right? That made it
Yes.
work really well. So I think we had like expectations set, which is like when you replace an actor or actress wholesale like that in a show, it will work out. Well, Pursuit of Jay showed us that it didn't quite work out. And that was a big production, right? Like the AI face swap person was a bit weird. but not as weird as in this one, okay? Like, this one was like they paid someone's 4-year-old son to paste the face on someone and say, like, "Okay, that's good enough."
I was watching that. Some people were like, "What's with the editing?" And then I think some comments were like, "I think they had to really cut a lot of scenes. Like they edit it down where you almost have nothing, so
Yes.
it's like the
Yes.
really choppy editing because they just didn't want to put. I don't know if you have the actor already there, like just make him act out the whole scene. I don't know why you're like nitpicking. Okay, we need this angle of your face here, and then this
Yeah.
angle on the side, and yeah, it was really weird because there's a scene where they're supposed to be arguing and there's no eye contact. Like, it was really bizarre. I don't know if you noticed. I was like, "Oh, this is really bad."
I think suffice to say, there's all sorts of things that is like just makes this not very meaningful. Now, the real question is, if you had to choose one, you're stuck on a 16-hour flight. There's only these two things showing. Which one would you watch?
Oh, no. So to have to watch it for the whole 16 hours.
I mean, okay, the reasonable choice is to sleep. But let's say you
Yes.
can't sleep and you have to watch something.
Well, I was telling you that I find the characters in Love Has Fireworks more likable, even though
Mhm.
they're not what they should what they painted them to be, right, on paper. But I think if you're telling me that I have to watch many more episodes, then probably Dazzling is the one to go with because hopefully there's a better payoff. I mean, the production value in that is higher. The quality of acting, the script is probably a lot better. It's just that in the short run, Love Has Fireworks grabbed my attention longer. But if I had to watch more episodes, I think Dazzling would be the one I would pick because hopefully
Hmm.
the payoff is better. I don't see a really great payoff for Love Has Fireworks. I feel like it's just gonna be the same and not like pleasant row 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 your boat same. It's like
No,
just
not
like
even pleasant
not
row, row, row
not
your
even
boat.
that. No.
Yeah, okay, I would make the exact same choice. Like, I feel like the framework, the two frameworks of the shows are very different, and I think, like I said earlier, Dazzling has a more promising framework for romantic angst, enemies to lovers, separation, and reunion. I can't tell you what the framework is for Love Has Fireworks other than it's a sitcom. And it's not even funny. It's not funny. That's the
Yeah.
other problem.
No, you were saying like my boss has the exact same or similar setup, and that was done in a funny way. Like
Yes.
that was engaging and the girl was also cooking and
Right.
cleaning.
There that's the difference, right? There's no deftness. And those shows
Mhm.
so you said this show might be, hurt by its datedness because it was held for 3 years because of the actor scandal, whatever. I mean, wasn't My Boss shot 3 years ago?
Yeah. It's also probably the source material too, you know? I haven't read anything. Apparently, there's a steamy kissing scene. All these people are like Tantan like fans are really excited about, but I'm like, I'm not gonna get far enough to find out. So
Just watch Love Me, Love My Voice. He steam kisses, what's her name? Julia many times, and it was hot at the time. I said it was like, oh, kind of stalkerish hot uncle kiss, but it's still hot. So we know Tan Jian can kiss. But honestly, I
yes.
don't need to see this version of him do it. Anyways, that's it, right?
We highly recommend my Royal Nemesis.
Yes.
The other two, take it or leave it.
Leave it. Just leave it. But if you're trapped on the flight, I would go watch Dazzling before Love
I
Has
agree.
Fireworks.
I would also pick Dazzling.
I'm sure people are gonna be like, "How could you say that about, so and so?" I mean, look, we get it. We're not anti any actor, actresses. It's just the material they're put in and how it's
Yeah.
done. That's all we're saying. So,
Mhm.
okay. Until next time then.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.